we were so small and we didn't have anything. We didn't have a social media community. We didn't have a standing. We didn't have, I don't know, a celebrity or influencer in our back that like founded the whole thing or something.
You jumped pretty much into cold waters and just started doing it, which I find very inspirational.
Drugstores is my game. I know how it works, and e-commerce is so broad and you can do so many mistakes, and it's wild.
What were some of the mistakes?
I always was like, no, if you don't have a goal, then you can't lose. But actually, like, it's so much better to just try and like do your thing, and in the end it will work out. So I think that's like a really, really important thing for everyone. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to have your own company. Everyone has goals. And just like every tiny step you do, ask yourself, am I doing it for where I want to be?
Welcome to the EGN Podcast, your weekly source for e-commerce inspiration, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Efe von Thenen. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Caroline Kroll, CEO and co-founder of No Cosmetics, a growing conscious beauty brand. Caroline's remarkable achievements have put her on the Forbes 30 Under 30 Europe list, Business Insider's Future Maker, and the Future of Digital Media. Today, we'll discover how her entrepreneurial journey has evolved since her student years into the inspiring success of her brand, No Cosmetics. Caroline, very nice to have you here in the show in our brand new studio. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm Caroline. I'm 28 years old and I'm the founder of No Cosmetics.
Yeah, so you're the founder, and you're a very young founder, by the way. So which makes everything a bit more interesting. So maybe let's go back 6.5 years when I think you were 22 years old.
Yes.
How did it all start?
I grew up with a dad working in the cosmetics industry. He was in sales at L'Oreal and then in marketing and then in a few different companies, but always like with cosmetics, like in that complete area. And when I was walking with him, with my sister and him through the drugstores, it was always like this. I liked the product, but he didn't like it. He didn't like the ingredients. He didn't like the complete formulation and everything. The only things he liked were either not in my budget or not fun, not colorful, not cool. And me as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, I didn't have a budget and I wanted something fun in like the bathroom. Yeah. And that's when I did an apprenticeship afterwards in the hotel, like in a 5-star hotel. And during that apprenticeship, my dad started to help other companies as a consultant, and he got like into several jobs, and I was helping him with my point of view, like the young point of view with like cosmetics, hair care, and everything. And during that time, I noticed how cool it is to have like products that you make and that you like come up with. You don't have a formulation, you don't have a logo, you don't have a packaging, and at some point it is in the drugstore. And that was so cool that I said, okay, I want to study marketing management because I wanted to do marketing. I knew that I wanted to do that, and the plan was, or I thought my plan was, to work in a huge, I don't know, company like Sephora or something. I thought I'm moving to Frankfurt and working at Sephora. And then during that time, we actually, like a few months before my study started, we were talking about how we can't find anything in the drugstore right now that I would like, that I would buy. And then the idea came up, why don't we do it ourselves? And then we started with, at first it was 3 products and then it was 5. And we pitched it to DM, Drogeriemarkt. And we, got in, and then the journey started. Actually, the first shooting for No Cosmetics was in my first week of full-time studies of marketing management. So I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. But that is 6.5 years ago. That's crazy how time flew.
You jumped pretty much into cold waters and just started doing it, which I find very inspirational, because many many younger people might not feel ready, or they might feel, okay, I need to gain experience first. But it probably helps that you have also a family background, being familiar with the feedback, even like what's in the industry. You've pretty much discovered that the industry has this problem. High quality goods might have good material in it. But yeah, so it's super nice to see that. But why no cosmetics?
The first thought about no cosmetics was that we wanted to do something. So it was no makeup. Like it was no, and then underneath it was standing no makeup. And we wanted to do skincare, or we wanted to make skincare that will make your skin as good as possible, so that you're able to go outside without makeup, without the social pressure. You should feel yourself and be comfortable with yourself, and then the makeup is the fun part. The makeup is the cool part. I love to rock a bold red lipstick, but you should be comfortable without makeup, like to go to the bakery or something on a Sunday. And this, what I was missing in the drugstores. There was nothing that could actually alter your skin. There were many things, there was standing on top of it every skin type. Like on each product there was standing every skin type. If it works for every skin type, then the formulation is probably not that effective most of the time. Because if it's effective, then it's not for every skin type, because dry skin needs something completely different than oily skin does. And that is where we came from. And then we thought, okay, no makeup, like your face is the canvas, and then the makeup is like the paint. And then the nö, which is actually Scandinavian, came from that we are from the Rhine area, Cologne and everything, and there you say nö. And in most of the parts of Germany, you don't say nö that often. You say no, like just the regular part. And this is why we came up with it, like, oh, that could be funny. We do that. It makes us unique. It's short and everything. And then everything just got out of it. We introduced our no claims. We don't use models, so no models, no social pressure, as I told you, no this and that. And then we even introduced our body care line, which is called Nobody's Perfect. So we could work with that from there on.
So it's it applies to many, many different areas of the company. That sounds great. And also interesting to find out, you had this claim and a product idea behind it. You mentioned you started with 5 products at the beginning. Where are you now? How many SKUs do you have?
I think regular, we have 22. I think we have in the drugstores in Rossmann and DM, we have 22. And then we have a few others that are limited or online only. Yeah.
So we will get to the sales channels in a bit. So what I'm also wondering, you mentioned at the beginning that cosmetic products can be quite expensive if you want to get something good, and then they might be boring, you mentioned. So tell us about how you make it affordable. You make high quality products affordable, which seems like an impossible recipe. How do you make it happen?
There are different things that we do to make it more affordable. The one thing is that No Cosmetics is a joint venture between a production company and us, the marketing company. That means that since the production company is interested in us, since we both do No Cosmetics, we don't have that high of on top costs. Because his name is Robert, and he works with my dad and me. We founded the brand together, and this is how we can be. We are more flexible, we can be faster, we can do things that you usually can't do. Our All-in Barrier Cream, when we introduced it, we wanted to have all ceramides. Ceramides are like bricks that are in your skin to strengthen your skin barrier. And we wanted to have all 5 existing at that point of time in one cream. And he was like, are you crazy? And we said, yeah. And we wanted for 17 euros. And he was like, okay, now you're really crazy.
You're kidding me.
And we thought, yeah, but I think we can do it. And he is very, very helpful, because we say what we want and he will try to make it happen. So that is the first thing, to make it more easy or more cheaper. And we're not that cheap for the drugstores. We're actually quite pricey, because a cream, like a facial cream for 17 euros is expensive. But the ingredients that we have are like transparent, we need to have it at 17 euros.
Yeah.
The second part is the drugstores. I know for e-commerce, it's very like, it's uncommon. I know for startups, it's very uncommon to start in the drugstores, but we did that and they helped us a lot. Like we were so small and we didn't have anything. We didn't have a social media community. We didn't have a standing. We didn't have, I don't know, a celebrity or influencer in our back that like founded the whole thing or something. And the drugstores, they really made it happen. And now we are working together that great that if we want to like launch something and we tell them it's very expensive, then we can decide that we both will like go into it and we both want it. We both want the drugstores to be more trendy, to have a better range of products and everything. So then we can both like
it's a win-win for both parties.
They will help us and we help them to like, I don't know, that it will work great in the shelves.
It sounds, especially at the beginning when you don't have any of the things you mentioned, you don't have a community, you don't have a strong brand or anything. How did you convince DM? I mean, like, what was your secret?
Everyone asks me that, but it's not that hard because the drugstores, I mean Rossmann and DM, they really want to have cool things in their shelves. So everyone is able to email them and say, hey, I think I have something that you really need on your shelf. And then you pitch.
So you did a cold pitch?
We did a cold pitch. Yeah. My dad had the contact to DM, so we didn't have like a cold email acquisition, but that was the only thing. We did a cold pitch. We said, hey, we believe in this. This would be called No Cosmetics. It would be clean. It would be have diversity and everything. And 6.5 years ago, this was new. This was like, wow, that sounds great. Wow. And on the packaging, on the sides of the packaging were friends of mine and me and my sister. And they loved the idea of having real people, not photoshopped, on the side of a packaging, with more diversity in it, with the whole like skincare approach of having like the ingredients on the front, like what it can actually do and everything. And also the colorful things, the design, they loved it. So it wasn't that hard. And I heard like last week when I was at an event, someone told me that she said it's also now still easier like to get into it because now the startups are in the shelves already. So we like made the way for new ones to come. So they are actually pretty interested in having new things in their shelves.
Okay. So usually the journey the other way around. You have your e-commerce startup and then you move on to offline retail stores and everything. So you did it the other way around. And can you tell us a little bit about the next step? So DM cooperation, and then you moved on to other retail drugstores and retail locations, or how did you, which steps, which milestones did you follow?
We started at DM exclusively. That was also something that made it easier. Because of course, if you're an exclusive brand with one retailer, they will be like a fan of your, they will try to improve your relationship. And then the second part was our own online shop. But that was, I think, maybe 2 years after we got into the drugstores, I think. And then COVID came. So that is also necessary to say because the drugstores were open. And that was like a thing that people did. Like they were in lockdown, but they could go to the drugstores. And they were in home office. So they did more for themselves. They did skincare, they did self-care. They had the time to look after themselves, to take the time in the bathroom in the evening and do a full facial and everything. So that is what also helped. And then after that milestone, like first DM, then the online shop, then we opened our first store in Berlin. That was definitely a milestone. And then, I don't know, there were so many. It's hard to tell.
But, so you, at a time when people were converting more of their buying behavior to e-commerce during Corona, you were among the few among the few companies that could still sell in physical retail locations in the drugstores.
Yes. We had the online shop ourselves, but it was really small, and it was just my family and me in their in their basement. We ordered pizza and just like packed the packages and everything. Wow. We had like challenges who would like be able to fold the cartons faster with like paper cuts everywhere. It was so fun. And so we just did everything ourselves, but still DM was open, and people, if they wouldn't order online, they could do it there, like buy it there.
So fast forward 6.5 years from the founding story. Now, when you look at the mix of channels, where are you? How much revenue are you making? Like percentage-wise, how much of your sales come from the online channel? How much come from third-party stores? Do you have 2 locations? I found out that you also have a second offline location in Köln.
Since April, yes.
Since April. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how's it looking now?
People-wise, we are 66.
Yeah.
But I always count everyone. Like, I'm not a fan of only counting the people that are like full-time or half-time. I count everyone in these 66. So also the people that are like working in the stores and everything. Yes. And then we have 66 people. We last year we did 50 million revenue. And I think we do like between 80 and 90% from the drugstores. We are new at Müller since May, so that is also pretty new. So we will see how the revenue, like also the ratio goes with that. And then I think we only like third parties, as you called it, would be like other online stores or something like these, but they are also like retailers. So we usually just think in like retailers, on and offline, and then our own like stores and online.
Yeah. So your own online store, what were some of the challenges building that? Because you have like the omni-channel journey, what we like to call it in e-commerce, so you have physical locations, you have other locations where your products can be bought. So when you're building your e-commerce website, so you have to cater to a certain target group. Maybe it was a different one. The journeys were different. So did you notice that there's strong differences between the purchasing behavior of the ones that buy it from retail stores and then e-commerce stores? Like, for example, in terms of feedback, in terms of people, their experience buying it. Do you have any anecdotes or insights for us?
The bestsellers differ so much.
Yeah.
In the retail and in e-commerce, it differs so much. Like the best sellers we have in the online shop are the ones that are not listed in the drugstores. So that is one thing that is like, I don't know, it's so weird that people are like looking or like going into the online shop and think, ooh, I have never seen that in Rossmann. I will buy that. That's like so cool. And the learnings in e-commerce are, for me, they are way, way heavier than in the drugstores. Because I mean, drugstores is my game. I know how it works. And e-commerce is so broad and you can do so many mistakes, and it's wild.
What were some of the mistakes?
Well, for example, it's our third online shop system. And we just thought it will be way, way faster. I don't know, for me, I'm not an e-commerce person. Like I'm not into the topic or something. So everything is just so complex and everything. Really, I'm absolutely fascinated how all the IT people do it. And it took us ages to do the new online shop. We wanted to do... Do you
use a standardized online shop software like Shopify or something like that?
Yes, we have Shopware 6.
Okay.
Yeah, but for example, we wanted to launch our new online shop this year, and we had everything planned. We had everything already like sorted out. We tried everything before, and it took like, I don't know, 2 hours or something to implement everything. Yeah. We tried it out, everything worked, and then we said, okay, now we will launch it. And then it took like 3 days, and we're like, why? Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like a black box. It's so weird to me. I don't know how people are like that easy with a click in IT. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you work with an agency, I believe.
Yeah, with an agency, and we have our own head of IT.
Yeah. Okay, so it takes a huge focus to be successful in e-commerce, right? So, and I guess your home turf being the retail stores. But especially with the feedback that you're getting there, it completes the picture in a way. So yeah, I would say, but yeah. So the online store came a bit later, at least your own. And how do you market your brand? Can you tell us a little bit about like how do you do your marketing? Where you invest your money? How do you see the return on invest? So I'd be curious to find out more.
Our main channel is social media, definitely. I guess for many people it is. But we also do the traditional marketing. We do out of home. We have a tram running through Berlin. Yeah. I can already spoiler that we are having a tram in Cologne. I don't know what it's called in Cologne, but it's like it's tram in Berlin, so like that. And yes, so we have like the traditional things. We have a PR agency that does like mailings, and we have PR packages. So these are like the normal things. Also, for example, in magazines and everything, of course. And then social media wise, we do everything we have, like TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And there we, on Instagram, we have, I think, 130K. So that's quite...
Followers.
Yeah, I think that's quite huge for a German-speaking skincare brand.
Yeah, it's huge. And also doing ads on Meta, obviously. And so in terms of ad channels, you mentioned LinkedIn, which I find also interesting. Do you also invest in LinkedIn ads, for example?
Not yet.
Okay, but it's an organic channel.
Yeah.
And how about so the allocation of these channels? So Instagram and Facebook being the highest like invest, so to speak, or how do you allocate them, the budgets?
I think Facebook and everything. I mean, we also have Google Ads. So, of course, that has like an allocation on itself. It depends. It depends if you only like think about the budget that you're really putting into it, like the ads that are like just on social media, or if it's also the manpower, like the people. We do everything ourselves. We have our own studio in Berlin. They do the TikToks, the Reels, everything themselves. So of course this also takes time, but usually that like helps a lot with engagement to have like real people that are explaining things. Like the education and entertainment factors are very, very high. And yeah, I mean, TikTok and Instagram also work completely different, right? Like TikTok, people love to do like crazy things on TikTok, that works. And on Instagram, they want to like learn and
more
everything.
Of a community, like learning from other experts, I guess.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the emerging concept of live shopping, for example? What's your take on that?
I think it's really interesting. I would love to do that because I've not been like live, like on a live stream that often, but it's so much fun. So I would love to try that out. I guess it's the usual like flow of things. People want to buy from people. They want to have a real person explaining everything because they are just so overwhelmed with everything on the internet. So it just helps if you have a real person talking to you that you can ask questions that will explain something, just like in the stores. That's why we have our stores. We wouldn't need them. I mean, we're in 6,000 or 7,000 stores in Germany and Austria and Switzerland. So we wouldn't need them, but it helps to have someone that can come to a real place and talk to you. And this is just like with lives. Because I mean, on stories and everything, you can still work on it, you can cut it and everything, but the live is like so real that you have a feeling of really talking to the person. And I think that's a really, really cool thing to just engage with the community.
How about competition? Do you have fierce competition in the market, or do you have competitors that are challenging you?
It depends. I would say our main competitors are online, but it depends on how you see it. Because usually people are like, well, then they aren't your competitors because you're in the drugstore. And of course, in the drugstore, then we would... like our competitors wouldn't be the other startups. I think our competitors then would be the private label things, because that is like how with the numbers it would work out. But I don't know. I think the hardest challenge is that, of course, if you set trends, then of course it will happen that people like try to like copy a few things and everything, but I'm not that mad about it actually, because the drugstores, the shelf looked different 6.5 years ago. And if a small brand that started in a basement is able to change or like be part of the change of like changing a complete shelf in thousands of stores, then we're doing something very, very good. So I'm not mad about it. This just means that more people can buy really like effective skincare for better prices than they had before, and that's what we want.
Yeah, and you as a brand, you also stand up for certain ideals. Want to get back to this, but which brings me to the question: what's your age group or like demographics of your consumers, customers look like?
We don't like to think that skincare is only for women, because skincare is for every gender. The skin isn't that different. Like each person has to see themselves, do I have dry skin? Do I have oily skin? Do I have acne? Whatever. It doesn't matter which gender you are. So that is like first why we don't try to have our marketing just based on females. And then with the age group, it also depends. It depends on also the channel. It depends on the drugstore sometimes, because some drugstores or some retailers have a more like higher age, or of a region than others do. They are also like a little bit separated in the areas where they are located in Germany. So it depends from that. But I would say our like main target group is male, female, and whatever in like my age group. Like I'm 28, so maybe between like 18 and 38.
I take it that you use your product, eat your own dog food, we say in e-commerce. Yeah, so I take it that you also use your own products daily.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your most favorite 2 products, let's say?
Oh, that's such a tough question. Every time someone says your favorite product, I'm like, this, no.
It's hard to decide, right?
My holy grail is our Rebalance Serum. I use it every day because it's good for the microbiome, and I'm traveling a lot. I have loads of stress. Yeah. So that helps me with like having less impurities and everything in the face. And my second one would be the liquid hydrator, because I use it on everything. I use it on my scalp, on my back. I use it on my dog. I use it for everything.
On your dog?
Yes.
Okay, that's funny. We talked about community and the importance of community. You mentioned that you have a huge following on Instagram, around 130K. How do you see sales days like Black Friday, for example? What's your take on this?
I think you're sensing something.
I'm sensing something.
Yeah. The last 2 years, our stores and our online store were closed on Black Friday. We, when you were trying to enter the page from like midnight to midnight on that day, there was standing closed today. You can't leave your money with us today, but there are some good organizations that you can leave it at. So this was like our take. We were thinking about what we want to do for Black Friday. Maybe this year, I don't know, we will be back and do something else. But the last 2 years, it just didn't feel right. We are not able to fight or like be with the whole like discount fight. Like we're not able to fulfill that. We can give you like 50, 60, 70% sometimes. We can't do that. So we thought about, okay, are we just ignoring that it's Black Friday? Are we just like opening the store and not act as if anything has happened? And then I thought, I don't know if I would like want to have something happen on Black Friday, like for the brand that I will buy, and I would look on the website on that day, they wouldn't have anything. I would be like, hello, it's Black Friday.
Yeah.
Am I too stupid to find it? So we thought, okay, that one day doesn't harm us. So maybe we will just like make us take a stand. We will just say, yeah, today you can't shop here. You can, if your favorite facial cream is out of stock, you can go to Rossmann. Anywhere you can buy it on that day, but not here today. And the people in the stores, they were really glad that they had a day off. And my mom was really glad to have one day without new orders in the online shop. So it was great for everyone.
Yeah. But there are other e-commerce brands that do similar things during Black Friday. Some even call it Green Friday. They might have a completely different approach.
Yeah, Blackout Friday.
Blackout Friday, and I know, for example, Picture Organic Clothing. They're also closing their stores. They've done it, at least like you, a couple of times. I don't know what was the approach this year. Yeah, so it seems interesting. It makes me think about one study I had seen. The age group between 18 and 27. These people even go as far as boycotting entire brands when they feel like they're not standing up for ideals like sustainability or the new, like the newcomers to the job market, to the market. They seem to pay a lot of attention about what a brand does to approach like certain topics like sustainability, ecological commerce, and so on and so forth. So from our research, also your products are completely vegan. Was that the approach from the beginning on, or did that came about at a later stage?
No. That was from the start on. We wanted to do vegan skincare that was not tested on animals and everything. That was like the first thing that we wanted to do. And we also wanted to not use certain things like silicons, like mineral oils and everything. That was just important to us. So that was like, but that was also not, we didn't do like a market research and said, oh, young people love this and that. We just did what we thought is correct, like the right way. Yeah,
definitely. Which I think is the case for many brands, because they stand up for an ideal. They built the entire brand around this, and it's not something that you can switch overnight. I often give this example that if you're, let's say, if you're Zara or if you're McDonald's, like there's not enough biologically raised cattle in the world to supply the demand of McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like it's just you have to look at the model. And now we are the entire e-commerce industry is talking about the rising Asian giants, Temu, Shein, and stuff like this, where it kind of there's a mismatch between the ideals of what we like to believe is cooking in the German society, how we approach brands. We like to care for the environment, at least a growing group of consumers, and then you have some other brands that seem to have a different priority approaching these things. How do you see, for example, these platforms? Are you guys challenged in any way, you would say, or for example Temu, are you challenged in any way from them?
I'm not an expert in Temu because I don't know, I don't feel comfortable ordering at Temu or Shein, like myself, just me as a private person. So
that's also interesting how you see that as a consumer, you know?
I don't know if it's that cheap, it can come from a good place. And that is what I've thought. I mean, I've been on Shein. I haven't been on Temu, but I've been on Shein. And I thought, oh, that's so cheap. That would be so easy. But then I'm like, no, close it. No, we're not doing this. So I totally get it. But right now, tempting. Yeah, it was tempting, but I don't know. I don't think it would even last. Like the things, they are made for like wearing them like, I don't know, maybe a summer and then it's over. So I don't know if I feel that comfortable with it. But otherwise, I have never been on Temu or anything. So unfortunately, I don't quite know.
Just interesting for me to see your approach. It's just, I think this is all happening very fast, but it's still at the beginning stage in Germany. As like when you look at the app downloads of Temu and Shein in Germany, they're among the top downloads in the app stores. So,
and it was once like boom, and it was there, and I was like, why does everyone know what it is? And I have never seen it. What the hell?
So it's very fresh, and everyone is talking about it, of course, because there's a real impact, because you not only see the advertisement, and for new customers they even offer like 100% off, so you can pretty much buy 2-3 products for free and just test it out. It's a whole different model, like factory to customer. So they're kind of eliminating a couple of steps, which makes it more efficient. They heavily utilize AI in like giving you personalized products, but beyond that, there's an open area that where we don't know much still. We're discovering about the business model. Yeah, so we can be excited to see what's coming, how we're gonna talk about them in the next few months. But
yeah, maybe they will also like, I don't know, improve everything and like be more transparent, and then it looks better, maybe.
Yeah. So also going back to your business model, and I see that for the last couple of years you've been growing quite steadily. So it seems to have the scalability, that the business model has the scalability. How do you see the growth of the company going forward?
It will be very exciting with Müller now, because now we have a little bit more of coverage. Also, Müller is in different countries. They are, for example, also on Mallorca. So that will be cool to see, like what happens, because Müller is, I think, I understood it like that, that they are the only ones that are like taking care of every country, like of every Müller store. Like Rossmann is, for example, like they can connect you with Rossmann Poland, for example, but they can't like do something about it. And that is like really, really exciting. Although I actually saw a TikTok 2 weeks ago that we are now in a Rossmann in Barcelona, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go. I've never been to Barcelona, so now I want to go. Yeah, maybe that will be like the next few things. Maybe like go to Rossmann DM in different countries or something. That would be really cool. And that would, of course, like, keep up the revenue. But the rest, I'm not quite sure how it will work out. I think it will depend if we go more international, how many products we launch, and everything. Then we will see how it works.
Yeah, super excited to follow that journey. We've talked about many of the positive things that you've had over the years, but I'm also curious about some of the mistakes you've done alongside your journey as a founder. Can you give us a couple of examples of big mistakes or failures?
That's not easy to choose one.
You're like, no, I'm perfect.
Yeah, no, it's the opposite. I'm like, oh, many. I don't know. I mean, I'm young, so there were different things that I'm still working on, always improving the communication within the company, building a team. Many mistakes can happen. And also with different, I don't know how you want to grow, in which retailers do you want to go. We had retailers where we started and then we thought, kind of we don't fit in there. And then we left again. Yeah. So there are like many, many different mistakes. I think it's not that easy if it's like such a broad spectrum. We had so many typos in products. Like my favorite product, the Rebalance Serum, the name before was microstructuring, and we managed to put 3 R's into it. And I was looking at it and was like, no, we didn't print like 20,000 of microstructuring. Like, what the hell? So that sometimes like the typos are one of the best things. We even have, maybe someone wants to also use that for their company. We always celebrate our birthday in November every year, and we have a fail award. So every time something like a fail happens during the year, people are like, oh my God, I can save that. I will bring the fail award home. And then we have like, they can like all give their fails, and we have the funniest, the most expensive one, for example, we have that. And then like they can like to just celebrate their failures by like taking a trophy home for what they did.
Such a great idea, because it makes everyone comfortable with like really trying without thinking of the potential consequences, because sometimes the best ideas could look like the riskiest ones.
Yeah, I can even give you an example. You just said that we have a new store in Cologne. Yeah. In Cologne, the number, or like the time 11:11 is very important, because that's like the carnival time. Yeah. We opened at 11, and at 11:11 our logo fell off the wall. And we were like, no. And it was N-O, and the O fell down. We're like, no, this can't be. And the only thing our retail manager was like, I will get the fail award. I will get it.
That's such a nice PR story, actually. It's an epic fail.
I wouldn't even believe it if my sister wouldn't have had a video of it at 11:11 of it falling down. And we're like, no, this can't be true.
Yeah, I like that. Also, again, you're I don't know how many awards you have. Like, you're OMR 50, part of the OMR 50, and you've been featured in many places as being a young female founder. For those of our listeners and viewers that are watching you, do you have concrete tips? Maybe 3 tips for them to follow, like advice coming from a successful business person that they should know about?
The first tip I always give is have your elevator pitch ready, because I personally love it when I talk to someone and I don't have to, like, they are talking about everything and then I have to ask, what was your brand again? So, like, make them remember you, like not too long, but like, why should I remember you? Why should I, after we talked, like, go on my phone and, I don't know, Google you or whatever? Like, the elevator pitch, I think, is so important. And the second one is consistency is key, unfortunately. Of course, I'm a young woman, so I've been discriminated like so many times in the last 6.5 years. And the consistency is key, because if we are not visible and if we don't, like, keep like being there and being like in the face of everyone, then nothing will change. And the third one is like, know your goals. I actually, like 2 years ago, I Googled the Forbes 30 under 30, and I Googled that it's possible. Like, I Googled the other ones and I thought, I could make it. Like, it would be possible. And then I thought, because usually I have impostor syndrome. Usually I think, no, there are so many great people on there, you can't do it. But then I thought, I don't want to turn 30 and have not tried it. So then everything I did from there on, like every event, when I didn't want to go, when I was tired, when I was, I don't know, just scared because of the crowd and everything, I said, do it for the Forbes. Do it for the Forbes. I just, like, it was my mantra. Wow. And then I think 6 weeks ago or something, I did it. So, and then I was like, oh my God, I did it. I'm on that list.
Wow.
And that was such a huge thing, because I've never been the person that had a mantra. I've never been the person that had a goal, because I always was like, no, if you don't have a goal, then you can't lose. But actually, like, it's so much better to just try and like do your thing, and in the end it will work out. So I think that's like a really, really important thing for everyone. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to have your own company. Everyone has goals. And just like every tiny step you do, ask yourself, am I doing it for where I want to be? Yeah. Like, I want to run the next marathon, I want to whatever. And then I think it's way easier, because I mean, you have to do baby steps until you're there. It won't happen in like during one night or something.
You mentioned imposter syndrome. It's I think it's something that many of us go through for various reasons. What's been your experience with that?
I don't know. I think it's very, very hard to I always think, are you sure that I'm invited there? Are you sure that I belong to this table? Are you sure that I this and that? For example, with the OMR you mentioned, when I talked to them, they didn't tell me which stage I would be on. And then I said, for this and that stage. And they were like, oh, no, we wanted to have you on the yellow stage. And I was like, what? What? And then
all of a sudden you're in front of 10,000 people.
I would have never thought that they would let a like blonde young woman talking about beauty be on the yellow stage. I would have never thought. And then they told me I can open it, and I was like, are you crazy? And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I'm so thankful for the OMR to like do that. And that only happens if you like try to push your imposter syndrome aside and think, I know it's weird, but I belong here. Like, if they wouldn't have, like, they asked me because I belong there. If they didn't ask me, then of course I can ask myself if it's correct. But as long as they wanted me there, I can be there. As long as they ask me a question or something, then I'm able to answer, because then I don't need the imposter syndrome, because they have a reason why they asked me. Yeah. And that is, I think, so important, because we all have different like niches where we can be experts in. And I don't know everything about all of it. I don't know much about e-commerce, but I mean, you can just try and you can learn more. So yeah, I think it's very hard. I think it's also something about our generation. We have imposter syndrome, like loads of us, because we think, we just came from university. Are we really able to have a job? Are we really doing enough? Are we doing enough sports, enough whatever? Yeah. But in the end, everything is enough. I'm not a fan of the 5 a.m. club and everything, because I don't know, I'm working 90% of my time. I'm like owing my 20s to no cosmetics. I love it, but it's my 20s where others are going like partying and everything. And then when I'm like at home on my couch, I don't have to learn something about ETFs and I don't know. I can watch Netflix because I did enough the whole day. And I don't have to like get up at 5 a.m., run half a mile and whatever, drink a green juice. I can just like do my own thing. Yeah. Because everyone is doing enough, and it's like such a like bad influence if everyone is just teaching you this is not enough, this is not enough. You have to get up earlier, you have to have your life together, you have to do this and that. Although everyone is already doing enough, and everyone is also fighting their own battles inside. Yeah. So I think like that's the whole reason. I mean, the imposter syndrome has had to come from somewhere, because I don't know if my parents had it. So it has to come from all of this, like social media, all the pressure.
Yeah. And having such a huge following on Instagram, for example, I mean, it's also, it's known to be a place where toxicity can also happen. And it's like, you might feel influenced in a way that you start to question yourself. Hey, and instead of being authentic, you see this like depiction of a complete fake lifestyle, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, I have to be like that too, but I'm far from it. So it's kind of a dead end, which leads to even more imposter syndrome, probably. At least I'm not a huge Instagram person at all, but this is at least how I observe that to impact people.
Yeah, we had last year we had a fail happening with a product. We wanted to launch 2 products and one failed. Like we weren't able to launch both. And then I thought, I can just like leave it. Nobody will know that it was meant to be 2. And then I got the newest Alverde, which is the magazine that is in every DM drugstore. And there it was like on one of the pages, like printed. I was like, And then I thought, what am I doing? Am I just sitting it out? Am I just like reading the comments that will come like, oh, there was another cream coming in, whatever. And then I said, no, I will not do that. I will do a statement video. I will put it online and tell people this is what I wanted to happen, but apparently it's not here because of this and that. And then so many people texted me on Instagram saying, I work at this, I work at that. It happens all the time. It happened so often with our company, but I didn't know because nobody talks about it. So I at home felt like the biggest failure in the entire world, because I thought, how could that have happened? You should have done like these tests before. You should have done that. Also, it costs a lot of money to like lose a product like that. And if like other like brands or like bigger companies would be transparent with it, then it would be easier for the smaller ones, because I mean they're like also our idols. Like we're looking up to them, like, oh, you are so like long in the business and I want to be longer in the business, and maybe in like 3 generations I will be long in the business and whatever. So it's it's way easier to also like to work with what you did, to like talk with people about it. And then it was so nice to talk to people online, and if I hadn't posted the statement, nobody would have ever known, and then I wouldn't have known that others are feeling the same.
Just went for it, and that's the positive outcome. But do you also have I mean, obviously you must have some haters too. How's your experience with that?
Until now, my bubble, like on Instagram, they are really nice. They are like the nicest people. They're really cutie pies. I love them very much. So right now they are really nice. But of course, like sometimes I still remember when we only had one person doing the online shop, one person, and she hadn't like studied anything about it. She was like really doing a great job in that second. We had a new launch and the server went down. And then people were so angry saying they act like they are like beginners, but they are not. And I was like reading that, I was like, we are. I know we don't seem like it because we are in the drugstore, but we are. It's one person that is doing that. And they thought there's like a football team like sitting behind the servers, but
which
we are really trying
that the outer appearance of the company is so big, right?
Yeah, but everyone is trying their best, and if you write a hate like comment, you have to think that a real person is reading that. We also had like people commenting like whoever that on like something about like a model that was like in Instagram post or something, and I'm like thinking, we don't use real models. So that means it's a real person. It's a friend or someone who's working with us or some part of a family and everything. And they read that. So everyone should think about that. And this is what I'm trying to, just trying to communicate. Also, if, for example, they order a lot and my mom and her team, they can't like like work with it, they have like ages until the packaging will come, then I like go online and I say, hey, you know, it's a real team, it's not a fulfillment center where you can just scale up and say, hey, it's not, I don't know, 500 orders, it's 10,000 today. We can't do that. They are real people who most of the time are moms in my mom's team.
Wow.
And they have children, they have things to do, so they're trying everything they can. They are really nice, but they are like working on a Saturday, they're trying everything, they're working late, but at some point they are not machines, and we have to accept that. We are trying everything, we are even sending, if we know something is happening, we are sending Berlin people to them and everything. So we're trying everything, but in the end it's a real person packing your package, and it takes a little bit until the package is done and closed and everything. And if when there are loads of orders, then it will happen that we are a little bit late. Caroline, not every time, but yeah.
This is incredible. It's an incredible journey, but also incredible where you are right now. And still, you mentioned like over 50 million revenue a couple of years, last year, I guess. This is just despite that, still working with moms packing things themselves, so like super authentic, super nice. I've learned a lot from this inspiring journey. Thank you so much for being part of our show. Although you mentioned yourself, you're not the biggest e-commerce expert yourself, but you work with a team that handles that. So appreciate you being here and sharing your experience, and hopefully our listeners and viewers also had lots of takeaways today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun.
See you next time. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the EGN Podcast. If you found our discussion insightful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Your support helps us grow and improve our content. See you next time.